hello, and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today, the trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday, and previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and everything in between every Saturday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I'm, of course, your host, James J., alongside Kaliko Yachts.
Man, I mean, we did have the Final Four, but it's WrestleMania week, and I feel like a crackhead, right? Like, there gotta be more of them WrestleMania weeks. I swear to God.
Yeah, we're right up against the deadline. It is indeed next week, so. Um, but until then, it was a good week for Wrestling Wit, as we interviewed Bad Bad Botti on Tuesday, and your Raisin Dre's Dragon on the 9th on Wednesday. Two incredible interviews, two incredible individuals. Definitely go into the archives if you haven't already checked them out. This upcoming Tuesday, we have Rick Scott Rick, the Stono Brothers. From my neck of the woods, they primarily wrestle in Hood Slam. We talk about that. We talk about that time Lita came to join them to train. The Arm Lung Challenge match. Wrestling against their student Mansoor. Stoner U, their training facility, and a hell of a lot more. You definitely want to go check that one out. And then this upcoming Wednesday, we have Murilo D'Angelo, our first ever interview from the country of Brazil. And we talk Brazil Pro Wrestling, his time in Dubai for WrestleFest DXB, his rivalry with Ali Razor, I should say, and Kuya Born. We talk about what he's doing right now in Brazil. We talk classic cartoons like Looney Tunes. So a lot of fun, interesting things in that interview as well, especially if you want to know about Brazilian pro wrestling and where they're at in their pro wrestling journey. But don't take my word for it. Here's some clips now.
You know, when you smoke a lot of weed, it's hard to remember stuff off the top of your head, unless it's already in there. And I was thinking about it like earlier today, but I gotta dig deep, you know? That's like a question I should have thought about beforehand. Yeah. Scotty's got a story, though.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, let's hear it.
Took a big van bus. It was like a 10-seater to Vegas for when Hood Slam did Vegas and LA, like fucking 7 years ago, I think, 8 years ago maybe. But yeah, we were all on the bus, and then a bunch of us got booze beforehand. And like an hour into the trip, like fucking 5 of us are just fucking destroyed already. And it was quite an adventure on the way up there.
Love jelly bees. So I'm gonna assume here. I love jelly bees. It's great. I didn't want to bite and spit on someone else. I was like, this is so disrespectful for Kuya and for the chicken leg.
But primarily the chicken leg.
Exactly. And he was like, why don't you bite it and spit on my face? I was like, dude, what is wrong with you? But I like the idea. And also in the beginning of the match, we had a promo. I told him, I'm going to kick all your ass all the way back to Manila. And it was something that we planned together because he's not from Manila. He's from Cavite. And he told me, yeah, let's do this because and then he was going to punch me. And then I was like, oh, all right, so shake my hand or I'm going to kick your ass all the way back to Manila. And he was like, and he grabs my hand and he grabs the microphone and he said, I'm from Cavite, Gago. And he punched me in the face and the crowd goes crazy. It was a great moment, you know. We got the reaction that we wanted.
On the 22nd, we have Robin Zane. On the 23rd, we have Jake DeLeon. On the 29th, we have Bino Blue. And on the 30th, we have Joya. So the rest of April almost complete. Definitely check our social media for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more at Wrestling With Me. Alright, I think we're done putting ourselves over for the moment. No, Kaliko?
Never, because everything is beleza, as they say in Brazil.
Very on topic. But we got to, because it was one of those big weeks for wrestling. Not even enough time to cover the news this week, because we are wrestling with AEW Dynasty. It took place in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, at the Licorice Center. Attendance was 7,921. And depending on who you ask, it was not a good day for pro wrestling. Some might say it was a good day for pro wrestling, but I digress. The show as a whole, how did you feel about it, Kaliko?
Ooh, it made no sense. I mean, I'll put it this way: if the main event is what prefaces the show, that show is dog shit. Sorry.
I mean, you're not exactly wrong about that. They left a lot to be desired. I gave them, some grace last time around for, what was it, Revolution. And, I mean, they did a pretty good job at that, paid preview. Like I said, I'm a little biased towards it. I was there, so I was maybe a little bit more invested than I would have been in other pay previews that they've done. But yeah, this just came at the wrong time. I don't think I was mentally prepared to watch Dynasty as well. So yeah, it was just AEW doing AEW shit. So we should probably get into it now.
Reluctantly, I have to get into it because to me, that main event cut everything short.
Oh, and we'll get there. There were two pre-show matches. We did not watch those matches, so they're not worth mentioning. That brings us to the opener of the show. Will Ospreay versus Kevin Knight.
Now, Kevin, next, because it went exactly what I thought it would go.
Yeah. Definitely didn't need to see that one to see how it was going to play out. AEW World Tag Team Championship match. The Outsy Business, Robert Lashley and Benjamin Shelton with VIP defeated the Learning Tree, Big Bill and the Bandit Keith in 11 minutes. This confused me, if I'm being honest, because the Heart Signature is heels, the Learning Tree is heels. The heels wasn't heels towards the heels, but the other heels healed on the heels, and they won. But the heels played cleanly. Am I making sense here?
Heels have eyes? I guess. I mean,
What I'm saying
honestly,
yeah, continue.
honestly, you kind of want to go semi-next because it was rather predictable what was going to happen. It's just that this was an odd pairing. And I got why they did it when Dynamite came Wednesday, but it
Right.
still was just an odd pairing. It was just two heels working because, I mean, yeah, it was just because it felt like the crowd didn't know who to cheer. I mean, they were cheering more for the Syndicate, and the Syndicate kind of were more clean.
I disagree. The Syndicate worked more heel, and the Tree played more cleanly.
Which, I mean, I guess considering they don't have the stomach to be heels, I don't know. It's like what?
It was.
Because when the I mean, yeah, it was awkward.
It was so bizarre. And like you said, you kind of understood where they were going because of what happened on Wednesday. Chris Jericho, chewed their asses out. Um, but I just wonder, could this have just been done on a random Dynamite rather than, a paid preview? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yes, but Tony Khan didn't spend all that money signing them three people just to not do pay-per-views.
Well, I mean, we could have got another Outrunners match against the Syndicate.
Oh God, no. Um, yeah, no.
Do we even want to do star ratings at this point?
I mean, we already. That is a great question. You know what? I will work it out. Let's do it because we need to figure out what the fuck. Because you know what? Yes, we need to. It's another episode of Guess That Rating. Because God damn it, this needs to be put in the books. Because personally, I thought this was ass. And if you see what I'm saying? So if Meltzer's going against the grain of the people, we got problems. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. So we should probably backtrack here and start with Osprey and Knight, right?
Well, we'll go Osprey and Knight, but Osprey and Knight, me 3 because it went exactly what I thought it was going to go. Osprey beating his ass. And I told you, I mean, why would you have Osprey and Fletcher on the card and they don't win and see each other? So that's why it
Right.
screamed. But anyways, your rating on the Osprey.
I gave it 2 fast forward bars because I did not watch it. The show
Okay.
the show was 4.5 hours, and predictability, lack of interest caused me to need to speed something up, and this definitely played that.
Yeah, because it was, I mean, we called it. We were saying that in the preview. It was kind of like, it was a mix of like squash matches with
Right.
quarter intriguing matches, and then, yeah.
So, Uncle Dave, this is going to be interesting.
Uncle Dave. Oh, yeah, it's interesting, all right. You can bet your eyes that.
It's Will Ospreay in the opener. 5.25 stars.
On the right track, but you're off.
5?
Uh-uh.
Higher or lower?
I'm a lower.
4.5.
4.5.
Okay. Respectfully, honestly, I low-key respect that of Dave to not give Will Ospreay a 5-star match with a jobber. No disrespect to, Kevin Knight, but I mean, you didn't. Stevie Wonder blindfolded could have saw this match, what was going to happen in this match. So
Stevie Wonder blindfolded driving that night on the 70s on the what the grapevine could have saw this shit coming.
This is correct. Alright, Hurt Syndicate. How many stars you give that one?
2, because and people are gonna think we're hating, and I don't want to say that I'm hating. I just look at it from the match card when it's announced, the probability of how it could go, and the probability gives me already a low bar rating that I already have in my head. So I already had 2 at offset, and it stayed at 2 because it was 2 heels working. And I mean, Hurt Syndicate looks strong. It seems like they're the strongest faction other than the damn Death Riders at this point. So yeah.
No, I agree with that. It was a solid 2 for sure. Alright, Women's Owen Hart Cup Tournament quarterfinal match.
No. Red.
Oh, yes.
Belzer.
Uncle Dave.
What do you think, Uncle Dave? Uncle Dave.
3.5.
Lower.
3.25.
Lower.
3?
2.5.
2.5. Okay.
So how he follows, it's crazy. He gives Will Ospreay a 4 off the rip in this month. I'm just saying.
Like I said, Owen Hart, Women's Owen Hart Cup Tournament quarterfinals match. Mercedes Monet defeated Julia Hart in 13 minutes. Like I said, it was a 4.5 hour show. Needed something to speed up. And, yeah. As much as it hurt my heart to speed up a Julia Hart match, I needed something. I knew where this was going, so...
That's the problem, because you knew, that's what I was saying. In some ways, it felt like a collision show.
I mean, damn, you didn't even give them Dynamite. You gave them Collision.
Yeah, like Collision, where they're, or not even that, like, what is it, AEW After Dark?
I think it was Rampage. It was called Rampage. Yeah. So I would say this was a 3-bar, for me. What say you? How many stars?
3 skip bars. I mean, 1.5, because as soon as the match got announced, you knew who the hell was winning.
Very true. I mean, why does Mercedes Moné need to be in this tournament anyway? She has 15 fucking belts. She doesn't need
Because
to.
I think they're setting up Tony and Sasha. They're all in.
That's just going to hurt both of them if they do that. Okay, here's the question. Because considering what's happened Wednesday, do you think, because Sasha's a big favorite in this field, who the hell else do you see taking her out? I know you're gonna say get the fuck out, but Holly Cameron.
What? Stop.
I know what I said.
Cancel. Just stop the show right now. Just stop the show right now. Just that girl is literally like the sun next to Pluto, and a bunch of, and that's not even disrespectful to the wrestlers. It's just the way that they booked Sasha is like the sun next to a bunch of Plutos. Because I would have guessed Chris Statlander, but the problem is I just saw Chris Statlander get her ass beat by fucking Sasha Banks about 6 months ago.
Right. But the thing of it is, Harley, and there is method to my madness when I say Harley Cameron, because she did have that, tiny rivalry with her maybe a month ago. And I mean, personally, it would make sense. Okay, you had your biggest star beat this, up and comer, and then the up and comer has, a out of nowhere upset victory against your biggest star, especially if you want to, make them a star. That would make sense if you were, a promoter, but, AEW never necessarily makes sense.
No. But the thing is that God help us, because the only person that's going to save us from the Sasha slaughter is Tony Storm. That's the only person that's going to save you. I don't see anyone else saving anybody from Sasha taking over. Sasha is Thanos at this point, the way that she's been booked.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. It's Sasa no Yob.
No job indeed, but I mean, that's the way I'm looking at it. And Julia, and that's not saying Julia gave it her best. I'm not saying that.
Oh yeah.
So it's not a knock on Julia. It's just more of the positioning that they're putting Sasha in, to where she's like ungoddamn beatable. Think about this. Sasha beat Stephanie, and Stephanie's in NXT killing that shit.
Yeah, she actually got. She's better for it losing to Sasha.
You know what I'm saying? So that's where you see what I'm saying? So that's where it's getting me.
Unfortunately, there's no WWE contract for Julia Hart right now, so.
Come on home.
How many stars you give this one?
I told you 1.5,
One
because
and
it
a half,
was
yeah.
1.5. It was 1.5 when they announced it. It was that shit ain't cool.
I'm gonna say
So
Uncle Dave gave it at least a 2.
you are right. He gave it at least a 2.
So it was 2?
No, higher.
Okay.
That was your baseline.
Okay. 2.5?
2.5.
Okay. I'm starting to get a feel for this. Alright, trios match for the AEW World Trios Championship. The Dead Riders, Claudio Ida Canoli, the Bastard Pick Pac, and Dord Wheeler Yuta defeated Rated FTR, Edge, Cass Wheeler, and Dax Hardwood in 14 minutes 45 seconds. Considering what came before it, this wasn't necessarily a bad match. It was okay, and I mean, the match wasn't the story. And by God, this was one of the only matches that actually had a story.
Yes.
So I could.
Oh no. Scratch that. That ain't the only match. This is the only match that had a story that made sense. Different story.
We'll get there. um, but yeah, I kind of thought that Dax was gonna turn on Cope. It I don't want to say it made sense, but it's obviously the direction that they were teasing, a couple weeks ago. So I mean, again, you should have watched this show with Stevie Wonder. He would have spoiled the fuck out of it. Um, but what kind of caught me off guard was that Cass actually turned on Edge too. They pretty much fucked him up pretty goodly. So, I want to be mad that the Dead Riders won, and things are still the same and all of that stuff. But
Hmm.
you know, they gave me a story I could kind of sort of sink my teeth into to kind of say, huh, okay, well, they're doing something. So I kind of feel like that kind of makes up for it. But how did you feel about it?
Well, they gave you something in which you saw it progressing to somewhere, and it actually made sense why it happened.
And it actually went
Um,
that way as well. Which is not
exactly.
is not always the case with AEW.
Yeah, it didn't swerve left. Like Chris Statlander beating the hell out of Willow every chance you got, but she couldn't get over in none of the matches. Oh, but that's a whole nother story, another
Okay,
day.
that's a whole other episode.
It's a whole boy. We could that people. We're gonna do that. We're gonna have to do that. Some crazy what the fuck bookings. The craziest what the fuck bookings in wrestling history. See, top 10. There we go. We got our next top 10. But back to
At
this
some point,
match.
we're gonna have to do that top 10, that top 50 list of WrestleMania matches from YouTube because I know that you're pretty heated towards it.
Oh my god, don't get me started on that. Boy, oof.
Yeah.
Anyways, this match actually it picked up, it made sense. Um, and I thought, and this is just me writing notes in real time because when I wrote it, I was like, when the Death Riders won, I wrote clearly Moxley has to lose tonight, right? Because to me, I always it does, I always looked at it like something because usually when you have your whole faction on it, all of them aren't, they're not sleeping the entire night.
I think
Um,
you're going into that with a New Japan logic because usually
well,
New Japan doesn't, but again, AEW logic.
that is true too. But then I also thought about it like the Death Riders been trios champs for how long, and they haven't really defended it that much, so they're kind of holding the trios division on damn hostage. Um, uh, but that's another topic. But yeah, other than I mean, the match was secondary to what happened after the match, so it's going to be interesting what's going to go down, and I can only predict that Edge and Christian are coming back together.
I kind of feel that too. But how the fuck does that make sense when they had a group
Bro,
match a couple of
I'm
months?
just letting you
Yeah,
know they're going to get that 5 seconds of fucking posing on.
I know. Yeah, I know.
You know,
I know.
you know.
hmm
It ain't going to make no goddamn sense, but
It's gonna
you
happen.
know it's going to happen.
hmm
Like,
Yeah.
just stand the fuck by. We don't, even though Christian literally ruined Cope's title shots a month prior, but it's gonna fucking happen.
Not to mention when Colt first came to AEW, he literally told him, "Go fuck yourself."
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's gonna happen. You can bet. This should have been on the prediction show. You bet your ass it's gonna happen.
That's on the bingo card.
That is on the bingo card. That's the center of the bingo card. Anyway, but yes, it made sense because FTR been working face for a minute, so they needed a character change to be heels to show their essence. Because to me, they work better as heels anyway.
How many stars you give this one?
The match or the whole thing?
Let's be fair and say the whole thing.
The whole thing, I'll give it a 4 because it did because this was the one shining moment in which AEW actually executed on a story that's been down for a while.
They understood the assignment.
Yes, At least I give Edge that much. At least Edge and FTR are understood the assignment.
I give it 3.5. The match was okay. The the aftermath pleasantly surprised me, which I can't always say it does with AEW, and that it will after we talk about this match. So yeah, 3.5. That brings us to Uncle Dave.
Uncle Dave.
What is Uncle Dave thinking? You know, I'm feeling like me and Uncle Dave might be vibing on this one. 3.5.
I
4.25.
uh,
4 7/5.
4.5.
4.5. Okay. So you was vibing with Dave.
I told you. I mean, because the story. I mean, yeah. We'll continue.
AEW Women's World Championship match, Timeless Tony Storm with Lex Luthor defeated Megan Bayne with Penelope Ford in 15 minutes 25 seconds. I wonder what kind of nickname we could give Megan Bayne in the future.
Megan Banner, because that's a bitch. Anyway.
I like the match. It made sense for what it was. Tony put Megan over like a motherfucker. You know, made her look like a monster, which, you know, she should have done. And then, you know, Tony got the W, but it didn't necessarily hurt Megan. You know, it was the champion got out of it by the skin of her teeth, like type situation. So I couldn't necessarily be mad at it. So I think for everything that it was, they succeeded in what they needed to do, and they executed it rather well. But I kind of attribute that to Tony Storm just being a general at this point. What say you, Kaliko?
I mean, I had that same sentiment. The only thing I just didn't like was the fact that they had Megan do all that at the end just to lose to a roll-up, right? Or be so dominant towards the end to lose to a roll-up. Other than that, it went just about what we thought, because Tony just got the title, and like I told you, they're setting up Tony Sasha, because at this rate, the only person that can save AEW from Sasha taking over is going to be Tony.
Right.
But back to the match. Yeah, very solid. And Megan looked strong. My only issue is that this loss, although it doesn't hurt her, the question is, how are they going to build off of that loss? How are they going to put her back in position after that loss, especially considering that you got two suns about to collide, and we know that, you know, everything else underneath with the women's is going to be like, eh.
Which, I mean, it normally is to begin with. Unfortunately.
Oh no, they got a pretty solid roster. It's just the fact that the titles are held on their two biggest stars, and they're just, with the exception of Tony, who was willing to take the loss to Mariah, the titles have been held between them two for the better part of a year and a half. So it doesn't give the women anything to elevate to. Does that make sense?
No, I get what you mean. But, I mean, Tony took an L to Megan in a tag match prior to the show. So, I mean, she's willing to give to, you know.
Right, she's willing to give, but I get that point. She's willing to give, but what I'm saying is losing in a tag match is totally different than losing in a singles.
Right. And
And
I just wanted to say I'm not crapping on the women's division. They do have a lot of solid goals. But if
yeah,
it's not pertaining to a title, not they don't really put a spotlight on the women.
right. And that's where I think they're lacking because, prime example, 3 years ago, we were yelling Deanna Purrazzo was like the greatest women's wrestler ever.
Hmm.
Or not ever, but at that time, she was top five. And now, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
She went to the island of misfit toys.
the island of misfit toys. We're just gonna start calling it that from here on out.
It was never not that. We've always called it that.
We've always called it that, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately. Um, but yeah, I mean, unfortunately, she was top five a couple of years ago when she was in TNA, and now she's on the island of irrelevancy, unfortunately. But getting back to this match, how many stars you give it?
Considering it was, I mean, they had two good matches in a row, so about 3.5. I give it 3.5. 3.5 because Megan looked good, but I kind of figured Tony would win.
I give it 3.5 as well. It was the more bearable matches on the card.
The bearable and a bunch of unbearables.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
That you are correct, sir. Um, now, Uncle Dave,
Uncle Dave.
3.5?
I
4.
It's Tony Storm for crying out loud. 4. Solid 4.
Solid 4. Okay. Men's Owen Hart Cup Tournament quarterfinal match. Kyle Flatulence with Don Callis defeated Mark Briscoe in 16 minutes 15 seconds.
Next.
Title versus match. Title versus mask match for the Raw World Championship. Bandito Dito Dito defeated Chris Jericho in 18 minutes and 15 seconds.
Somewhat of a next, but we can get there. We can take it there.
I mean, this was one of the only matches that they went into it with an actual, story attached that was, personal. Chris Jericho beat up Bandito in front of his sister and mother and stole his brother's mask. And he even cut like a really good promo on Bandito. Um so this was one of the matches I was like, okay, this might actually be pretty good. And then they get in there and it Bandito doesn't come in like he's ready to kill motherfuckers. He wrestles the match like he's just wrestling any other match. There was no bloodlust in Bandito's eyes. The match kind of went the way that a generic match on Dynamite probably would have gone. Um, I will say that they did catch me off guard when they put Jericho over. I was like, wow, they're gonna take Bandito's mask. And then they did the whole, oh, wasn't right, reverse the decision, restart the match, and it was done so cornerly and so badly. It just, whatever, I don't want to even say interest because my interest I lost my interest maybe halfway through the match because there was zero fire in it. that definitely killed any fire I had pertaining to this match because it was so badly done. But that's my opinion on it. What say you, Calico?
I mean, yeah, but it once again, when someone puts their mask on the line and gets the title, what you expect was going to happen. I mean, shenanigans were ensued, and of course, it was made to seem that way. But then again, everyone wants to see Jericho lose, and everyone got that fulfillment. So, and then considering Wednesday, what happened Wednesday, everything really makes sense. So it's like one of those things where it's like, damn, well, there's glimmers that they can make sense. But in this match, yes, everything made sense.
Um, it doesn't make sense though, because okay, the referee restarted the match because shenanigans were ensued and it was
And
on.
it's a dusty finish. What you expect? An inverse dusty finish.
But why do they do that for just specific matches and not every single match that has shenanigans in them? Like I mean, fucking Swerve and Moxley was a smorgasbord of fuckery.
Oh yeah, it was. And the fact that yeah, it was a smorgasbord of fuckery, and the ref just either didn't understand, but that's my point. It's just like but it's Ring of Honor, so it could be different rules. I don't know. Like it's But it's funny that Jericho got the Ring of Honor title and it's on AEW, but Athena out here just smoking motherfuckers and she can't even get up. You know what? I'm not sure.
Oh no, she's gonna be on AEW next week. She's gonna take her L to Mercedes.
Oh God, Jesus help us! All right,
I'm
we're
not.
fucked.
I'm not even joking. It's
We're
it's Athena and Mercedes.
we fucked.
Yeah. It's like having. I don't even want to. I don't want to even say Seth Rollins. Like, who is less than Seth Rollins? It's kind of like having Jimmy Uso defeating Roman Reigns while he was on the 3,000 day run, title run. Like, it makes no sense. It would make no sense.
Well, Jimmy or Jay?
Jimmy, not Jay. Jay made
Well,
complete
yeah,
sense.
It's like if Jimmy. Yeah, I get your point.
Yeah. Um, how many stars you give this one?
Uh, I gave it a 3 because I mean, all the bullshit, but at least they understood the assignment. I give them points for at least understanding the assignment.
I couldn't get behind this one. 2.5.
Oh wow. Well, we're harsh on this show. Anyway.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit? Anyways, okay. Guess that rating, sir.
Um, 3.5.
Lower.
3.25.
3.25.
Okay.
3.25.
Then we have this AEW TNT Championship match. This match had no time limit and outside interference was strictly prohibited. Adam Cole defeated Daniel Garcia in 15 minutes and 35 seconds. And when I hear that, my first thought is, why is an outside interference prohibited in every fucking match? Especially the Death Rider matches. Why? Just why? Why do you have to put that out there if it doesn't apply to everybody? You know what I mean?
True. But they did that to make it seem like, it's a super special stipulation. You know what this is.
Well,
Now,
mm,
Adam Cole winning wasn't on my bingo card, but
I don't think it was for a lot of people either. Um, it was definitely. I will say this: it was a solid match. It seemed a lot more personal than it actually needed to be. It seemed like they were just going for it was a champion. If Bandito and Chris Jericho had this intensity, that would have been like a 5-star match. Um,
hmm
but this had all the intensity without the actual
the
stick
story.
story connected to it, which makes absolutely no sense.
I
But
mean, because it's a 50-year-old Chris Jericho who can't, and
well,
Adam Cole can go, but since he left, other than that demon storyline, what else we get? I mean, which don't even start, but back to this.
yeah, I thought it was a good
Solid,
yeah,
solid,
it was a good
solid.
match.
So-
Um, I maybe would have liked it more if I didn't actually like slice my finger open while I was watching the match. Bleeding all over the place. Had to stop the match to get stop the bleeding, get medicine, and bandage it up.
Damn,
Um,
tequila limes off this bitch. What are you doing?
it's a long story, but
Look,
but needless to say, I'm okay.
Sasha Banks went and got you one to kill yourself. What's with the fun?
Just don't try to open things when you're not paying 100% attention to it with a sharp object. But
I mean, I
yeah,
I get it. Sasha undefeated for a year would make me feel that way too.
it definitely took me slightly out of the match, but I still appreciated what they did. I'll give it 3 7/5.
Mm.
What say you?
Uh, 3.5 because I did not see Adam winning this. I ain't even gonna lie. And the fact that Adam's been in there that long and that's his first singles title is fucking mind boggling, considering he should have been PWI #1 like a couple of years ago. But that's a whole other story.
We're just hashing up old shit that pisses us off in this show, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. But then again, this whole card just got us like traumatized. So to be fair.
Continuing with the traumatization, a three-way match for the
Uncle Dave.
Uncle Dave, 4 1/4,
Lower.
4,
I was surprised too. Lower.
3.5.
3.25.
Wow. Okay, Uncle Dave does not like somebody in this match. I'm assuming it's going to
Uncle
be Daniel
Dave
Garcia.
said. Uncle Dave said, "F this."
Apparently. Alright, three-way match for the AEW International Championship. Twinkle Toes McFingerfuck defeated Rick Lachey and Speed Testicle Mike Bailey. This match was too fucking long. I did like the finish. The finish was good, but everything up to the finish was like it was just a spot fest. I mean, it was a Ricochet match. What did you necessarily expect? I suppose. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it just went on way too long. And I get that it was a Kenny Omega match, so it had to be 20 minutes plus. But it just went too long, in my opinion. But the ending, the way it ended was solid. I'll give them that. That was a good finish. What say you?
Uh, I was doing some research afterwards, and someone said that this was the most GCW 2015 match you ever seen.
Pro Wrestling Gorilla Battle Los
Or no,
Angeles.
yeah, no, this is the most PWG ass 2015 match. I was like, bro, I was crying, and he was right though. He was right.
Yeah, that,
They
that,
was right.
that's as spot on as spot on can get.
Uh, but the right person won. The right guy won, and now I guess it's setting up the match that everyone thought that should have happened before all this went down. See that this lets me know when they want to, they can do it. These motherfuckers just don't do it. Anyways, yeah, Ricochet once again. I mean, Jesus. I mean, I don't know what's worse, him or MJF when that bell rings, because they both ain't popping out with W's. At least MJF gets the title. Damn.
Well, I mean, MJF has a hell of a lot more charisma than Ricochet does.
I'd say he talks more. He does more shit talking. I wouldn't say that channel's charisma.
I would call it charisma. Dude has zero aura.
Bullshit. People just like him. People just like him because he's willing to roast people. That's not really charisma.
I mean,
Jeff Hardy's charisma.
well,
Because that motherfucker is a Mr. DUI and people still love his ass.
yeah. But I mean, compared to, I mean, if we're just we're comparing up Ricochet to MJF.
Oh, Ricochet to MJF, yeah, I
Yeah.
can see your point in spades, yes. When it comes to that. But I mean, yeah. Going back to this match, yeah, the right guy won. Couple good spots. But it was the spot fest you expect. It's Kenny Omega versus a high flyer versus someone who kind of really ain't got no business being in it. And that's pretty much what it was.
This was your welcome to AEW title match for Mike Bailey. And now he goes
Yeah.
on to the Isle of Misfit Toys.
I mean, yeah. Sounds about right.
Yep. How many stars you give this one?
Long yet smooth spot fest 3.
Are you confident with that trick?
I mean, that's the baseline. Anything above that, I'm like, I mean, I love Kenny. Don't get me wrong. But
Yeah. I mean, Kenny was not the problem in the match.
yeah, he's not the problem. It was just the fact they put a motherfucker that had no business in it in the match. And the cynicism in me wanted to say, hey, why the hell Ricochet is even in this match? But I will give him some grace.
I give it 2 7/5. I can't necessarily. If it was maybe like 10 minutes shorter, I would have gave it the full 3. But like I said, too long. Was completely out of it. So yeah, 2 7/5. All right. Uncle Dave.
Uncle Dizzle.
Dinkin.
Uncle Dizzle Shizzle. Nizzle.
Gonna say Kenny Omega's in it. So
It's not at the Tokyo Dome, so you can take 8 stars away from it.
Yeah. I was gonna say my baseline is 4 at least because Kenny Omega's in it. So
I mean,
gonna say 4.5.
that's a good guess, but it's higher.
5.25.
Jesus, he get Meltzer gave no match in this a 5. So I'm just gonna let you know right now. Just take 5 out of it.
4 7/5.
4 7/5 is the correct answer, sir.
Like, motherfucker, why just give it 4.5 or a 5? Like, why do we have to do halfsies?
I mean, he does quarter C's. Like, that tells you everything.
Yeah, quarter C's. Like, no fucking sense whatsoever.
None.
Alright, alright, so that brings us to the AEW World Heavyweight Championship match. John Neo-Nazi Moxicillin defeated Swivel Strickland in 31 minutes and 35 seconds. In my opinion, the absolute drizzling shits. It. I could get past. I could get past it. I could get past all the clusterfuckery and what's it called? Just all of the gaga. There we go. All the gaga that was connected to this match. If something significant came out of it, and then the stars were aligning, and it seemed like Swerve was going to win the title and end the tyranny of a John Moxley. And then out of fucking nowhere, the young fucks came out of nowhere and cost Swerve the championship. It made no fucking sense. And I felt like this was a complete and utter waste of my time. What say you?
Hold on. Let me get some lines.
You're setting up. You're getting ready.
The simple fact, I'm going to give Tony credit for this. For one thing and one thing only. Because he is dedicated as fuck for waiting for Darby Allin to get his ass down from the mountain like Moses so he could save AEW from fucking John Moxley. I will give him that dedication. But other than that shit, sir, this has to be the most confusing fucking match I've ever seen in my life. If there were ever a time to get this belt off Moxley at this point, because he is holding it hostage, it's not even, no one's into it. The story doesn't make sense. Why is he even having it? What's the higher power? He's not even the Moxley that he first came in as. So there's no charisma there. The match really was working like not really that good in the beginning. It was a typical Moxley match with a bunch of shenanigans in the shit. That's basically what it was.
Yeah.
Um,
It seems like he wants to do what Roman was doing in the Bloodline, but like this is like the off-brand Timu version of it. You know what I mean?
But the problem is with the bloodline, it made sense because it was family.
Yeah.
That's a big ass.
I mean, you don't have
Because ain't nobody ride with you unless you see them as family. And considering they had to beat fucking Wheeler into the family, I mean, I
I
mean,
mean, yeah, you're 100% right. That's why the bloodline worked. But it's the exact same reason why the Dead Riders isn't working. Because he's trying to do something. It doesn't make sense because it isn't what it's supposed to be.
true. And it's just, I don't know what the hell we're gonna do with it because it feels like the Bucks coming in. I don't know what the fuck that was, and Wednesday really didn't even put any clarity on it.
Like, why did they fuck Swerve? Like,
Well, they said that they fucked Swerve for Hangman. No. This is the fun shit, let's put this match to the side just to get the Bucks. I love the Bucks. Don't get me wrong. You come out after Moxley wins the match, looks him dead in the face, and then they have their little promo, and then they tell Moxley and them who were just in the ring talking to them to come back out when you could have said all that shit to their face. Bro, I'm just like, they ain't paying no fucking attention, no awareness, bro. None whatsoever. So
unfortunately,
that
yeah.
it's the little shit like that that is like, why? Um, and then back to the match. We were rooting for Swerve over here,
hmm
and I thought when they won the trios, oh, clearly Moxley has to lose because it would give Moxley a aim to go all ballistic because it seems like he's going ballistic, but you're in control. So why are you going ballistic if you're in control? Right? Am I the only one missing this?
I get it. I get where you're
It,
coming from.
it's and it's like they wait. I'm telling you, they waiting on Darby to come down from Everest like Moses with tablets to come get this shit popping. Because that's the only like, somewhere Darby out here eating bacon at fucking 30,000 feet fucking above sea level fucking mountains. And meanwhile, Moxley's got the title fucking on lock because who's the challenger? And then you got Swerve, who's going to end up, because I already see where this is going. It's going to be the Swerve and Page Swerve or Swerve Page or Hangman Swerve versus the Bucks to see if they could quote unquote get along while
Lazy booking.
Page tries to while Page tries to deal with the friendship of Ghost Pass. Yeah, I it's frustrating. And I, if you're loyal to this, bro, I give you got I got like 5 cases of wine you can have because this shit is woo.
Yeah, it's it's not good. And you know, very rarely do I watch pro wrestling and say I wasted my fucking time with this. I usually come out with, well, that was shit, or, you know, well, that past time, or something of that nature. And I felt watching this match that I just wasted my time. It was so bad. And there's one thing of, trying to protect a champion and, having the chicken sit heel, and I get that. I'm for it. And it works, in some cases. But when you're doing it to the extent where you're insulting the intelligence of your audience, that's where I kind of take, exception to that. We're not stupid, and you're making stupid out of us, and it pisses me off.
It's not even stupid. It's just more like it makes no sense why the Bucks would say, and this is me putting Wednesday into it. So this is why I say it. This is why I say it makes there's no clarity, because why would Hangman Page needs the Young Bucks to do what Hangman Page himself have been doing the Swerve the whole goddamn time in every title match?
Right. It makes
It
no sense.
that's what is like that is the infuriating part. If Swerve, if and then and it's okay, and then for them to do that, see, this is where it really didn't make sense, because they did it after Hangman himself came out and helped Swerve.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that the Bucks knew better for what was best for Hangman Page?
Well, I mean, obviously their intentions have intentions in behind them.
But that's the point. Okay, okay, I'll put it this way: if the Bucks attacked them, and then if the Bucks attacked them, and Swerve loses the match, and then Page comes out and helps Swerve after the match, that makes total goddamn sense.
You're trying to apply logic to an AEW logic situation.
No. But that's what I'm trying to get at. The point I'm getting at is that they undercut their own promo argument just by the timeline itself. Oh, we did it for Hangman because we're his true friends. Well, motherfucker, you sure had a whole horrible time of doing it because you did it right after the motherfucker just came out. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, oh, no. He didn't mean to go and attack John Moxley. He meant to get swerved. So we just had to make sure that we did what he wanted to do initially. So that's what was pissing me off. Like, I think that's what pisses me off more than anything. Because one, it didn't make sense, and then Wednesday, it really didn't make sense. So,
Yeah.
so it's like, why watch it? Why watch this? Why get my blood pressure up watching this shit? Like, I'm just saying, like, fuck me.
Well, unfortunately, after the show ended, Swerve had an impromptu heel turn. Um, he was thanking the crowd for coming out. You know, basic baby face shit. Thank you for coming. I'm here because I love it. For the culture, all that good shit. Um, and then he said, for my own amusement, fuck Booker T. Which garnered a lot of hate for Swerve because, obviously Booker T is on NXT living his best life.
Nope. That it's deeper than that. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I know. And I'm paraphrasing here, but apparently Booker T said something on the lines of, Swerve wouldn't be a wrestler if Booker T wasn't, a wrestler before him. Depending on the
Oh
con.
no. You're missing the story. You really don't know what went down, did you?
Apparently not. Then enlighten us.
Oh, okay, I'm about to. Well, for the most people, so there's this one guy who actually does all these interviews, and for better or for worse, they kind of see him as a parasite of the culture, and his name is DJ Vlad. DJ Vlad does a lot of these interviews with people, and kind of like some people feel like he doesn't do it with the best of intentions, right?
Okay.
And Swerve was one of and he was one of the most frequent guests on that on that on that show for DJ Vlad. So they usually air these things in parts because you have to pay through the firewall to get the whole thing, but he'll put up sections and clips on YouTube. So everyone just caught up on the fact that when Vlad got to Swerve to talk about his interaction with Booker T, which left a sour taste in Swerve's mouth to even get him to say that. You see what I'm saying? At the end of the night. Now, this is where it's interesting because Booker T's stance the whole entire time was, I don't even want to go on that show because he showed the receipts of DJ Vlad wanting Booker T on the show through text messages in which Booker T was like, no, I don't want to be on the show because of the way DJ Vlad presents things. So that's why Booker T was more like, and this is what he said on his own podcast, is like, I don't like DJ Vlad because the way Swerve's, the way he put it in is like Swerve's against him, and Booker's like, bro, yeah, you wouldn't be here if it's for me, and also they're trying to pit us against each other, and I don't want to be pitted against you. See, that's the huge context people kind of lay out, miss in this, is that Booker T does not like DJ Vlad. DJ Vlad used Swerve as an extension to expose Booker T.
Okay.
And that is where it's missing, because right now, like you said, Booker T's living his best life at this point.
Right.
Now, whether there's fire with that smoke between them two remains to be seen. But the problem that Booker T has with it is that DJ Vlad is using Swerve to make black people look bad. And specifically him look bad because Swerve kind of went in on him. Now, they could easily, I would think Booker T would seem like the type of person that is willing to call you on the phone and like chop it up and get to the nitty gritty, right?
Right. He's old
so
school
that's
that way.
where, right. So that's where it's, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's where all of this is coming from. It's not from a sense of, it's not even a heel turn. That's a real life beef that Swerve seems to have with Booker T, but it seems that Booker T is not really reciprocating that beef because he sees it as, yo, that dude is using you to make all of us look bad.
This is a lot more complicated than I thought it was.
See, that's why you need a black dude on this show, bro. We break down these ghetto things. break down this ghetto gauntlet, baby. No,
How did you feel about, Swerve, using that moment as the platform to air out real life beef?
I mean, he has every right to feel what he feels. It's just a matter of, I think he has a right to feel what he feels. I think Booker T is one phone call away from getting all this solved. And that's something, but that is up to Booker T. That is up to Swerve to, to, to walk through that door. And he doesn't seem like he's ready to walk through that door anytime soon.
Right. And I mean, even afterwards, Booker T, he said, he kind of lost respect for Swerve and that he wouldn't put him over and he wouldn't mention him on his show again. Because he said, he's a strong believer at the end of a paid preview, people should be talking about that paid preview. And people were talking about Booker T.
Yeah.
And that's not how you do business. And I can't help but agree with Booker T on that. So, I feel like if you're going to say something like that, there's a place and a time. I mean, he could have went on, a podcast. I mean, he could have fucking said it on Twitter. Just fuck Booker T. Tweet. Plain and simple. Didn't need to be at the ending of the show. Send them home. Say thank you. Say whose house? Swerve's house. Send them home happy. Good night. Drive safe. All that needed to be done.
Well, clearly now there's a line in the sand because NXT happened Tuesday and they were yelling "fuck you, Swerve." Now that tells you, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So this is where, like I said, it's, if you look at how Booker T approached it initially, you can't, you know what I'm saying?
He did it the proper way.
Right. No, Booker T's beef wasn't with Swerve, it was with Vlad.
Right.
And Vlad used Swerve to get to Booker T, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely.
And then, you see what I'm saying? So this is where it gets iffy because it's like, well, shit. If Swerve feels that way, I would think Swerve's a stand-up guy. Booker's damn sure is a stand-up guy.
100%.
They should be able to hash that out. But the fact that Vlad is that piece that threw everything in the chaos.
Right. I gotcha. Well, hopefully they'll be able to sort things out, and it doesn't necessarily paint Swerve in the best light, but I hope that, things will settle down. Like you said, one phone call away from, squashing the beef. We shall see.
Well, it didn't help that Swerve. Because, I mean, after they had like the whole Swerve and meeting with MVP after, so I don't know. And this is where it kind of gets where, like, is that part of the gimmick to help Swerve get over the Death Riders? Or is that you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or is it a deeper issue with him bringing MVP into the beef he has with Booker T? And this is where it's like, we don't know. That's where it's like, oh shit, how?
Right.
How the hell would we know?
Guess we shall see. Alright, getting back to the show. AEW Dynasty. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle.
Bring it up, thumbs down. That main event fucked everything up. Like we said, the same way a main event or a really good match, because that's the bad part. The best match on that card, to me, I would say Tony's match.
Hmm.
Tony's match was the best match, one of the better matches. The best storyline match was the Death Riders versus FTR. But all that means nothing because now, even though the Death Riders had that great trios match, it gets pulled down because of that Death Riders bullshit at the end. And more people are going to be worried about two things out of this pay-per-view. Why the fuck the Bucks did what the fuck they did, which made no goddamn sense, and the fuck Booker T shit. You're not really going to think about the pay-per-view card as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, my personal take was the Adam Cole Daniel Garcia match was the best match on the card. Best story was Edge and FTR because it was literally the only story on the card.
The only story, shit, the only story on the card.
Yeah, so I mean, when you only have one thing to pick from, it makes it easy. But I digress. Definitely, I don't think that the main event was just the icing on the cake, if I'm being honest, when it comes to, a crappy show. I didn't think it was a good show to any stretch of the imaginations, and that was just the icing on the cake of the turd cake that was Dynasty. So, definitely 100% thumbs down. 2 thumbs down, I'd say. In the words of Scooter Dust, 1 thumb up the ass.
I mean, kinda.
Alright. That will conclude our coverage of AEW Dynasty. Thank God. And now a quick word from our sponsors. So,
Rogue Energy, the only gaming drink company in the world with 4 unique product lines to suit your task at hand, whether it be juices, shakes, smoothies, and everything else in between. Their low-calorie, no-sugar energy formula is the perfect alternative to sugar-filled canned energy drinks and sodas. Their extreme formula provides the most energy, focus, and sports performance possible. Their hydration line offers focus, ingredients without the added caffeine. Drink it anytime you're thirsty. And their shake formula is so delicious. Who doesn't love a cookies and cream, 0-calorie energy milkshake? First and foremost, they've designed every Rogue product line with performance and effectiveness in mind. It is critical that you look at the nutrition panels of drinks when comparing options. There are countless off-brands out there that are presenting low-quality, poorly dosed formulas that amount to expensive caffeine water. Every formula they produce is designed with optimal levels of high-quality ingredients. Additionally, you won't find a powdered gaming drink brand that dissolves better. No need to have chalky textures in your drink. Their taste profiles are unmatched, specifically designed for gamers, athletes, students, entrepreneurs, people with hectic schedules, individuals with low energy, podcasters who can't shut up, people who are health conscious, and so much more. Great as both a pre-workout and as a coffee energy drink replacement. Specifically designed every Rogue product line to be the best gaming drink on the planet. Rogue Energy, more focus, more wins.
use promo code WRESTLINGWITHE for 10% off your next purchase. And we are wrestling with WWE NXT Stand and Deliver. Takes place and it's a matinee performance at the T-Mobile Arena in Paradise, Nevada. And yeah, pretty straightforward card. 5 matches. Definitely very much a let's get as many fucking names on this card as we can.
Yeah.
That being said, it doesn't look that bad of a card to begin with. I mean, every match makes sense in my opinion. But what say you?
I mean, yeah. I mean, the the women's fatal 4-way, I see why it makes sense. The ladder match, of course, it's just basically. I feel like that they had. When has there never been an NXT where they have a match where it's a gang of wild card motherfuckers for a title? So, as far as like a ladder match or a bunch of motherfuckers, so
Yep.
that makes sense. Um, but yeah, it seems like it's gonna be a solid card, and of course, it's gonna, you know, it's gonna be interesting to see how certain things work out, but we'll get into it when we get to the match.
We have a lot of matches.
Matches.
Yep.
That's a matches. So let's
Yep.
get there.
Let's get into it. A ladder match for the vacant NXT Women's North American Championship. We have Delta Airlines versus Kalani Jordan versus Sol Ruka versus Izzy Dame versus 2 TBDs. Who wins, Kaliko?
We have to see what the 2 TBDs are. My thought process is Sol and Zarya or Sol Ruka, as they call themselves, Zaruka.
Zaruka?
I forgot the. Yes, that ain't they not winning. Kalani at this point seems like a favorite until the determines, because Kalani is the only person that's actually had the belt. Izzy is more famous for tweeting that Braun Breaker spears her every time she gets in the house. Not saying that she's a horrible wrestler, but we just got to see more out of her. And then we just got to figure out who are the other 2 qualifiers, because depending on who they are, it could sway the whole thing.
Yeah, I could definitely agree with that. I could. That being said, I could say maybe Sol Ruka wins, and that is the knife between Zarya and Sol, where they start a feud with each other. I mean, there's not a lot of room for tag teams in WWE on the women's level. I mean, they're the only women tag team in NXT right now. So
Yeah, whoever thought it was a good idea to merge the women's and all the women's NXT and women's tag titles. Because honestly, if you had the NXT women's tag titles, that would have been a great story for them to have the titles and kill it.
I mean, yeah, I get that, but like again,
there's not enough women's tag teams.
When you're the only, and I mean, it definitely progressed them character-wise. We got some character development out of both of them, because of this, which is appreciated. But there's only so far I can actually go because there's nothing for them.
That is true.
With
that is true.
What's around them, so it won't make. I mean, maybe it would make sense that Zarya won and, Sol, she turns on Sol. Or, the other way around. Selfishly, I'd like to see the title on Sol.
I don't think that they're going to win the title. I think the match is going. See, this is where they have the problem with them not having tag titles, because I could see the match itself being the driving factor to them breaking up.
True.
Because they're both wanting it and they could take each other out.
I don't think Kalani Jordan, the last time they had a ladder match for this title, she won it. So I feel like that just excludes her right away, unfortunately.
I mean, that's why I said them TBDs, because at this point, I don't see Izzy winning it. Give me a reason Izzy would win.
She's in that faction with with Ty Dillinger, and it seems like they're kind of high on her. I would say. I mean, she's not.
I mean, but
I mean, she
they
wasn't
just
necessarily.
they just had their leader lose to Ricky. What the?
Well, I mean, it seems like they were more high on her than anybody else in that group. Like I couldn't necessarily tell you who was in that group besides Izzy Dame and Ty Dillinger.
You know what? I'm gonna make a prediction. I'm. It's a hot take, pure speculation. I think one of the TBDs will be Thea Hale,
Ooh, okay.
and if Thea Hale's in it, she will win it because I think that's something that she never really got to shine under. She shined under Chase U, but she came up short under Chase U. And her coming in and winning the title and having a new look, a new attitude, and winning the title gives you more interest into her.
I gotcha.
So that to me, I think she would be one of the TBDs. Now the other one, no, I couldn't tell you, but I'm just going out and saying Thea Hale would be one of the TBDs.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with because keep in mind we don't know who the TBDs are, so I can only say what's in front of me. So I'm gonna say
Right.
my first pick is gonna be Sol Ruka. Ruka and Zarya start feuding, and then my second pick would be Izzy Dame.
All right.
And you have uh Thea Hale as your first pick, and who was your second?
Depend. I'm saying Kalani until I get the full card.
Fair enough.
Because Kalani's the only one that Kalani lost it, never really got a rematch. I could see them putting it back on her.
Then we have the fatal four-way
Ooh,
match.
because I just thought about that. Because I mean, Jada's gonna get knocked off that card, and Jada's. I mean, to me, Jada's taking the pin. So Jada and Kalani for the NXT Women's North American title is.
Didn't they do that already, though?
No, everything was after she lost the title.
Yeah. So I mean, it doesn't necessarily change any outcome if it's for the championship compared to not for the championship.
But WWE seems to be a glutton for black on black crime at this point.
Speaking of which, fatal four-way match for the NXT Women's Championship match. Stephanie Vacour, Gulia, Jordan Grace, and Jada Parker. Who wins, Kaliko? And why is it Stephanie Vacour?
We agree Jada's taking the pin, right? I love Jada. There's something about her mouthpiece is gonna get her far. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Her mouthpiece is gonna get her far. The thing is with this is that it's tough because Julia lost the belt because they thought she was injured.
Right. And she had some visa issues as well.
Jordan Grace technically, I'm gonna say Julia. I'm thinking Julia's pinning Jada, which honestly would lead to a Vacour, Julia, Jordan Grace triangle because Jada's just there to take the pin, to be quite honest. The real story is going to be between them three. And you wouldn't, take the title off Julia unless you just knew she was going to be gone long term. And that's one. Two, I could see them putting Stephanie on the roster immediately. Because of the three, she seems to be the most over to be ready to be on the main roster.
Okay, so I completely disagree.
Of course.
I could agree that Jada is taking the L. She's gonna
Oh
be
yeah,
on.
she's taking the spin.
Just
If Jordan takes the spin, it's a bitch.
I see Vakura being the one to take the W. Good. First and foremost, good on Jada Parker. She's only been wrestling for what, a couple of years, and she's fucking with three wrestlers that have been wrestling for what, 10+ years. So good on her for getting there. But I see that Jordan Grace and and Jada are going to be fucking with each other. I could definitely see, they don't like each other. They've been fighting, and they haven't had that one-on-one match. And obviously, Jordan needs something to do. Especially, she literally just got there. So it would make sense just to put the belt on her. Especially when you have Stephanie, rocking that motherfucker like she has been. Like no other before her except Asuka at this point. So it's gonna be Julia and Vakor for quite some time. I could see that rivalry going well into maybe November, I would say. I don't think that they're going to be stop feuding anytime soon. Until then,
You
I see
expect this feud to go to November?
maybe August, SummerSlam time. But you need something for Jordan and Grace to do for the time being. So, and it puts more eyes on Jada Parker wrestling a big name like Jordan Grace. So it's going to splinter into two exclusive rivalries. That's what I think is going to happen. Stephanie for the W.
All right, we'll see who's right. We'll see who's ultimately right.
Well, our next match, I can't even say that we could really properly review it, but Nathan Frazier and Axiom will defend.
It's whoever. They beat whoever the fuck is gonna be. Like, it's just no, just going on. Axiom against everybody at this point. They are Detroit. They against everybody.
Ricky Saints versus the winner of the Fatal 4-Way match to determine the number one contender for the North American Championship.
I mean, I would think it would be, I would think if Ethan Page is in it, I think it would stand that he would be the person to win, right?
I mean, that would make the most sense, but I could also see this.
It would stand for him to win the number one contendership in order for Ricky Starks to get the win.
But I could also see this divulging into not a singles match, but a fatal 5-way. Because, get as many...
Jesus Christ. They just got a ladder match on the bitch. They're not trying to do that. Now, they do a lot of goddamn wild card shit, but they ain't doing it that much. Sean ain't that crazy.
I mean, they want to get as many people on the card. Wouldn't be out of the realm of possibilities, in my opinion.
Nah, because I'm looking at I'm using history as an indicator. and history is telling me they only have one of these goddamn crazy ass. Everybody named Mama gets a goddamn title shot, which to me I think Ethan Page. I think it's gonna be a 1-on-1 for that title.
But we could probably both agree that it's Ricky Saints winning the match.
Of course. And there goes our Bailey Roxanne Perez fucking
Yeah.
we really thought that shit was gonna pop off. Like, god damn it.
Yeah. It went out with a whimper, not a bang.
It did. I thought that would have been like, I mean, they're both Mexican, but it's Tex-Mex versus Cali-Mex, and that's a whole different, two whole different Mexicans, food-wise anyway.
Now we got a triple threat match for the NXT Championship. Saba Odi Acapulco versus Trick Williams versus Javon Evans. Who wins, Kaliko?
Well, we can agree Javion's taking the pin, right?
Yeah. Basically.
Okay, all right. There we go. See, let's agree on that part. Let's 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 agree. Let's agree. Before we figure out who's winning the match, we both know that is going to happen, right?
Yeah. We can agree on
With that being said, it's interesting because the question is, if Trick wins, what does he gain?
I mean, if I'm being completely honest, Trip is a good chaser. He's not necessarily a good champion, if I'm being completely
Bullshit.
honest. He's,
He was okay. I mean, is he solid? Is he like, let's see, within the last five NXT champions, he's better than Ethan?
I mean, it's like I said, he's better on the chase than it is actually, as the champion. Like this Trick Williams that we're seeing right now, I'm digging him. He has a bad attitude, yada yada. When he had the championship, I don't know. I don't want to say he was maybe stale, but when they're putting you with Sexy Red, there's a problem with your title run. You know what I mean?
No, sir. How dare you? No. No. They put her with Sexy Red to reach the African American demographic. I know exactly what they did.
He's black. He's literally the demographic.
That's my point. NXT, this NXT, the NXT that they're leaning more hip hop-ish rather than rock. If that makes sense.
Yes. I mean,
That's what I'm
talking
talking about.
Now they're Travis Scott.
Right. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's more, that's what they're leaning towards. It's not a knock on, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's more of what they're trying to get to. Because everything that WWE does now is hip hop ish.
Yeah. Kind of missed the heavy.
So
the heavy metal days.
That's what I was. It had its place. However,
Yeah.
shit changes. Hip hop is the new rock, and people just got to deal with it.
So who's winning, Trick or Saba, or Oba?
Oof. I mean, The only reason I think Trick would win is that if Oba's going to the roster like right now, because he seems the more main roster ready.
True.
Um, that's the only reason I think Trick wins. But then again, I just because my problem is whether one of it could be Javion. Watch Javion win and fuck us all over. Anyways,
That
it,
was not on the
it,
bingo card.
that was not be on the bingo. That'd be literally number one what the fuck moment. Anyways, but my problem is even whether Trick or Obi wins. The problem with Trick winning is he's literally done it all and faced everybody there. Damn near. And then when you look at Oba, if Oba wins, who are you really going to favor against him? And those are the two biggest things. So I would say Trick would win because of the fact that we've seen him lose the title on two occasions. So it won't hurt him to lose it to somebody in NXT by an Oba. I mean, we've seen Oba lose the title, but it felt like some Rocky IV Clubber Lang shit. Like D'Angelo had to dig deep to fucking win.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
So you don't remember that?
Yes, I blocked it out of my memory.
See, that's my point. So you making my point for me. So to me, if Oba's losing, he's not taking the pin, and he's going straight to the main roster.
Okay, so I actually have some thoughts on this. Because there's one factor that we didn't necessarily clue in, and that's that faction called Dark State. Um, and if I'm being completely honest, Dark State was dead on arrival, like nobody gave a shit about it. They just beat Javon, Oba, and Trip literally last week. Nobody gave a shit. No, nobody. Nobody was like. At first, they were like Shield, mysterious. Who are these assailant guys? And then nobody was asking who they was, so they just was just like, oh, they're Dark State, and these are their names, because literally nobody gave a fuck about their names. How do
Mm-hmm.
you fix a stable that nobody gives a shit about? You stick a star with them that people do give a shit about. I think Trick Williams is going to be the head of Dark State, and he's going to be the leader. Uh, it gives credibility to these guys. It adds a new layer for Trip, um, and it makes it an uphill climb for Oba to say that, oh, he doesn't have just Trip to deal with, but he has the whole Dark State. It's literally 5-on-1, so it's a hill for the baby face to climb.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I think. Trick is gonna win. He's gonna turn on, and he doesn't seem like he gives a shit about Dark State either, which just seems like really out of place in the rivalry. Um, so I'm saying Trick turns. He's the new leader of Dark State, and Saba Odie chases afterwards.
I mean, why would Soba Odie chase? But I
Oba's
think Soba Odie would just go straight to the main roster and wouldn't even think about it, to be quite honest.
I mean, I completely get that, but it doesn't it seems like he's a big deal on NXT right now, and they need something to attract fans. They need to sell tickets, and if Oba's selling tickets for them, they're gonna hold on to him a little while longer until they could, suck every penny out of him. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, they're low key. They're not even letting go of Roxanne Perez, and like she needs to go on the main roster at this point. Like she's like a tweener at this point. She's going in between.
I mean, yeah. Roxanne. Um,
All right. Any last thoughts about NXT before we conclude this preview?
I mean, it'll be. I'm ashamed that they didn't put Bailey in. Well, Bailey's gonna be too busy turning on Lyria this WrestleMania, but I would have was sure thought that they would have put the Bailey Roxanne send off match on that bitch.
I mean, it definitely would have made sense, but they could maybe do it at the next pay preview, whenever that is.
Maybe, but I'm a trust Sean because if there's one thing he knows how to take care of is that bakery.
That he does, and we could all agree on that.
So he protects the bakery like it's nobody's business.
He is the Muffin Man.
Yeah, he is the ultimate muffin man.
Alright, that'll conclude our coverage of NXT Stand and Deliver. And we are wrestling with WWE WrestleMania 41, Night 1
Oh God.
and Night 2.
Oh, we doing the whole thing for y'all,
The
man.
whole-
I'm glad I got my wine because Jesus, we here.
The whole fucking shebang. Let's go into it. Takes
Well,
place.
Get us out of AEW darkness. That's what it is.
It takes place next Saturday and Sunday. Easter Sunday for the Catholics and Christians out there. In
And
Paradise.
420 for the stoners.
Will you stop it?
Yeah, we're all fun. I'm telling you, bro, it's Easter and 420. Dude, it's heaven and hell all in one. We got this shit on Easter Sunday in Vegas on 420. Just, bro, yeah, no.
Yeah. It takes place in Paradise, Nevada at Allegiant Stadium. And we will be doing Night 1. I believe they already confirmed the matches that will be Night 1 and Night 2. Possibly something will be added, or definitely one match will be added. Randy Orton and whoever he may be wrestling. But we have a solid 13 matches to talk about. Night 1, if you've seen the card, what are your thoughts on the show as a whole?
I mean, Night 1, honestly, it's roughly about what I thought it would be. And usually these things have a theme with it. So it's hard to find it because it's so mixed in. But it seems okay. You know what? Let me scratch that. Scratch it. I see it. I see the theme. Cause Night 1 Samoan night. Cause you got Roman, Uso, Fatu, Naomi. It's a Samoan night. Night 1 Samoan night, baby.
I feel like this usually you kind of get a mixed bag for night 1 and 2. There's definitely matches you want to see on both nights. Um, if I'm being honest, it kind of seems semi-average for WrestleMania. If I'm being honest, night 1 at least.
I mean, yeah, because night one, I mean, we've had night, but the dip. See, the problem is that the this year when it comes to WWE, they have a lot of stories. They have stories. The problem is that they have several stories that dwarf. I mean, they've had it where it dwarfs everything, but you still don't have that I must see, right?
Yeah.
Like, the must see of the undercards are not there. And that's where I think it lacks. It lacks in the, oh my God, I cannot wait to see this match because this match seems very interesting to me outside of everything else.
I can get behind that.
Like, in essence, it just has something to, I mean, because even like last year, I mean, the whole thing to me that was second biggest to the Cody Roman match was the Seth consequence because Seth knowingly was going to wrestle both nights. So it was like, okay, how bad night one is going to fuck over night two, right?
Right.
Or even like 39, you had the Usos that you had a tag match that main evented, which one was fucking unheard of, and two was the beginning of the crack of the bloodline. So that made sense. This year, it's just there's not that thing there. I mean, because a lot of this seems forced, even in a sense, because Cody Cena seems forced.
I mean, it doesn't seem as forced as Roman, Punk, and Seth, if I'm being honest.
But Roman, Punk, and Seth makes more sense than Cody Cena.
I disagree. I would say that, John Cena won a number one contenders match to fight Cody. So, that implication was there. They're just fucking with each other because they don't like each other. But it didn't necessarily. And that was CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. And somehow they shoehorned Roman Reigns into it. I have no idea why.
Well, Roman got shoehorned in it when Punk first came back. I knew this was coming. Because if you saw, when Punk hit his first promo when he came back and said, I acknowledge you as a tribal chief, but keep in mind, I'm an original Paul Heyman guy. I saw that coming a mile away. I saw that coming.
Yes, technically, but again, it didn't. It could have been Roman Punk or Punk Rollins, or even Reigns and Rollins. It didn't need to be a combination of the three.
Well, the only way it would be you would allow it to be a combination of the three is that if Seth is leaving with Paul. And my thing is in the sense of you kind of have to put Paul. The whole reason they're in there is because of Paul. Because Paul was the reason all of this even became a thing. I mean, maybe not the Seth Punk thing, because that was just the extra stick of dynamite into the boom. But the fact that the fact that Heyman went to Punk to help Roman save his tribal chiefdom says a lot. it's kind of like if you're married and you're in financial trouble and your wife goes to a person that you know you can't stand, but you know that they're going to come through clutch. It's kind of like that in a sense because because unlike everyone else with Heyman, Punk has the years with him.
Well, we're getting ahead
So
of
it's
ourselves.
almost like it's almost like a lover, right? Like, oh gosh, we're married, but you going to your ex-lover to help me in this situation that I know that I can handle myself. Which was the beginning of this in the of all the which was the genesis of this to me in the first place.
Well, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's start with the matches confirmed for night one. Match
Man,
one.
we gotta make it interesting for the people.
Oh, we'll definitely get there. And I mean, this first match is definitely an interesting one, I'd say. Women's WWE Women's Championship. Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. Um, this is so interesting for all of the wrong reasons.
Reasons, yes.
As some people call it, granddaughter versus grandmother match. Uh, and honestly, I'm digging it. Charlotte was fucking with Tiffany. Tiffany decided to fuck back, and Charlotte couldn't handle. She could dish it out, but she couldn't handle it. Some people are saying, what was happened on Friday last week was, unscripted, maybe unprofessional. But hey, if somebody's coming at you and making you look like shit, you have to come back at them. So I don't,
Fault
fault
Tiffy.
Tiffy for, standing up.
Oh, she had to fight back. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes. And I mean, it wasn't like
God.
she was telling lies when it came to what she was saying.
Oh gosh.
But it kind of seems like the WrestleMania match is Charlotte Flair versus the wrestling internet community from
The IWC? Yeah, it's her versus the IWC.
she has
Jesus.
she has not dealt with that well.
Charlotte, well, she's divorced. She got time. See, that's the thing. Motherfucker got time today to deal with it.
Yeah.
She got nothing but time. And I feel so bad for Charlotte. I ain't even gonna lie to you. And the reason, and it's not for the reason that I said, the reason that I feel sorry for Charlotte is because if you met her in real life, she is a goddamn sweetheart. She is such a sweetheart. But the fact that people put the nepotism, well, I mean, for better or for worse, she got super glued nepotism to her. And ever since then, it's just it. And it doesn't help the fact that she's always been upper top card since she's been there. She's never been middle card ever. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of people put that on nepotism and a lot when, she's just really, really good. And she's really great at being a bar and a gatekeeper because I think they take the credit of her being on top as a bad thing, which to me, I see it as the opposite because if you beat Charlotte, it's a big deal and it doesn't hurt her.
Right.
I mean, Carmella, Asuka, the list goes on of everybody that beat her. As much as she's beat people, there's a list of people that beat her.
Right.
And that's where I'm like, okay, the fact that you guys still put her in that high regard says a lot about her, talent wise. But back to the match itself. It's gonna be interesting because this was what I thought was going to be like a litmus test. It's a litmus test of will Tiffy be the next generation Charlotte? She has the athletic acumen. Her mouthpiece needs to be her mouthpiece needs to be improved dramatically. And it just shows because when you see someone like a Charlotte, that's the bar. For better or for worse, she's the bar. And we're just going to have to deal with that because that is the bar. That's the bar of marketability, the bar of athletic excellence, the bar of putting in that work every day and every night. Now, some people say it's Bayley. I personally think Bayley's the most consistent, but it's not what I think. It's what WWE sees as who can garner more eyeballs
Right.
to the product.
And then
And
Flair
Charlotte
garners markability.
exactly a Flair garners the markability. So that's where I think this is Tiffy's litmus test, and she's gonna have to come through. Personally,
Continue.
I think it's tough because I think she's good. The only way I could see them having Charlotte lose is due to the fact that Charlotte went overboard and they need to protect Tiffy. But until I see that happen, I see Charlotte winning because every person that I've seen Charlotte go against at WrestleMania, the only people that she has lost to were people that were heads and shoulders above her in that marketability.
Right.
Rhea Ripley, in her matches, she's only lost to Rhea Ripley, Bayley. I think Bayley.
Yeah.
Did she?
Yeah.
See,
Bayley.
Rhea Ripley, Bayley, Becky. Those are the only three that she's lost to.
And I mean, literally pillows of the women's division.
Exactly. So that's why I think Charlotte's winning, unless otherwise noted.
I feel like this is WWE's version of Snow White, if I'm being honest.
Well, you remember she came out like as Cruella DeVille and all this other shit. She literally is the Cruella DeVille, the Devil Wears Prada of the women's division.
You're not
She
wrong.
is.
Yeah. And I don't want to. I'm not gonna say bad things about Charlotte. I think we were the only two people on the wrestling internet that actually liked Charlotte winning the Royal Rumble. We picked her. But the problem with her is she gets in her own way. The internet is a cruel place. And my personal feelings on it is, don't do things if you know people are going to talk about them. And if you know people are going to talk about them, you have to be prepared to talk about it. And I don't think that she gets that. If you're going to have, plastic surgery, know people's going to talk about it and know you're going to have to talk about it. If you're going to get divorced, you're a public figure, married to another public figure. Obviously, you're going to have to talk about it. You know what I mean?
I think she knew that. I think I will say this. With the divorce, I think she knew that. I think she waited too late to do it. Because what happened was she came back at the Rumble and then it all popped off at the Rumble.
Right.
Rather than having it pop off when she's in rehab because she's out of sight, out of mind, and no one will really think twice about it.
Right. And
So that's it. And she was more in her head thinking, and I get it because as much as they say she is her father, technically she is her father in all things because of the fact that she's divorced, another failed marriage, and it just seems like she's following it. I get it because in her mind, it's the perception of she loves this thing, wrestling, so much that it's putting everything else to the wayside.
right.
The
But
the very thing that she scolded her dad for, she is doing herself. Does that make sense?
yeah. No,
And
100%.
she doesn't want to be perceived that way, but she doesn't understand that if she gets in front of that and goes, hey, yeah, this happened, it didn't work out. I'm still,
Yeah.
doing it while she was injured, and that, yeah, it would have been a story, but it would have been over because she's injured and nobody would have
Right.
cared that much. Vice her coming back at the Rumble and it all hit at once, and now it's coming into it's a double impact because of the fact that A, well, triple if you think about it, because A, she's back, B, it's a big story, and now it's being used in the storyline.
Right.
And it didn't help because she tried to gain sympathy, and the people ain't having it with her.
Right. And now we
And
have Roman Reigns' 3-year reign lasted longer than Charlotte's 3 failed marriages.
really, wait a minute, she's married to Andrade for at least two.
No, I mean, maybe it's more exaggerated. I couldn't tell you how long she was married for, but they said
Oh
that
no, she was
Roman's
married to Andrade.
1,316 days as champion was longer than all three of her marriages combined. Whether that's true or not,
Bullshit.
I have no idea.
I call bullshit on that. Now, see, now you got me looking it up.
You have you Google it. But back
Yeah,
to
because no, because this is how I know it's bullshit. Because yeah, she was married to Andrade for two. Her other previous marriage, all of her marriage was 2 to 3 years. So yeah, miss me with that bullshit. Now,
let's get back to the
so
match.
now
Um,
let's get back to the match. Charlotte is the bar. She's winning unless otherwise stated.
I disagree. First and foremost,
Okay.
I think that this is gonna either go two ways. This is either going to be a great banger match, 5-star at the Tokyo Dome because both girls have it in them, or this is going to be the drizzling shits where neither one of them trust each other enough to do what both are capable of doing with the person that they're with. So it's it goes either way. Um, I think that Tiffy has to win because it will solidify her title run. Um, you know, while as much as Charlotte Flair is, the bar as you call her, she's not
She's
going.
the bar. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're in a new generation. It's not the four horsewomen anymore.
Mhm.
It is the Tiffy, Rhea, Bianca, generations. And, she's got to put over the new generation. Um, so I think it has to be Tiffy. Or it is just nepotism on WWE's part to, give Charlotte another pointless title reign. Because, I mean, if she does win the championship, other than losing it to Tiffany, what would that championship reign really matter? What would it do for Charlotte? You know what I mean?
It's gonna do because you want to know why? Because all her title reigns, all most of them this is why. This is why I say she's the bar. She's the most cashed in on women's champion of all time. Not even close.
Yes.
So that's my point. It's because you say that it's to push over or to put over a new generation. She already did that with Rhea. She already did that. You see what I'm saying? So
Well,
I,
what does she have to
I think
gain not putting over Tiffany?
you say what?
What does she have to gain not putting over Tiffany?
It's not a matter of having to gain not putting over Tiffany more so than it's just Tiffany in Tiffany to me in this spot is Randy Orton winning the title the first time and going against Triple H for the title in a rematch.
Interesting. I don't
Like
necessarily see
you
that.
know, you remember when he freshly beat Chris Benoit
Yeah.
and that whole landscape to me. Now that's not nothing against Tiffy. That's not saying that Tiffy isn't going to be a worthy champion down the line. I just think on the SmackDown side, wait a minute, this is Smack.
Yeah. SmackDown.
Yeah, on the SmackDown side, who is Tiffany going? Because let's say she beats her. Who's the next? Who's the next challenger? Now, granted, I'm going to give you this. Charlotte, regardless whether she wins or lose, she's going to be the bar for it.
Right.
The thing is that who's to say that um who is Tiffy going to be as a champion from henceforth if she beats Charlotte?
I mean, there's
Because
a
my
natural built-in rivalry with Nia.
But the thing is, Naya's injured. Remember, so keep in mind. See, that's where we can see. That's what I would have thought. My thought process. If WWE, if you want, I'll submit my application just in case Elon fires me. But my thought process would have been, hey, you already did this thing with Naya cashing in. You would have just rode that to Mania.
Right.
Have Charlotte come in and win Money in the Bank because that's the only thing she hasn't done. So if Charlotte wins Money in the Bank, cashes in on Tiffy, it gives more of an incentive for people to see Tiffy beat Charlotte.
I mean, I kind of get that.
Because I mean, everybody's gonna want to see Charlotte like lose, right? But to me, it's an inverse. It's an inverse of what's been happening to Charlotte, right? Charlotte always been the person cashed in on, but never been the cash in. And
Yeah.
being the cash in would be, and to me, her being the cash in on a person like Tiffany would garner the backlash like Becky got with Bianca.
Right. But that definitely.
You see what I'm saying?
I mean, it's definitely not going to end at WrestleMania. Whether
Yeah,
or
it's not going to end at Mania, right?
yeah.
You're right.
So I think Tiffany has more to benefit winning at WrestleMania than Charlotte would.
I mean, she will, but that don't mean she gonna win.
True.
I mean, I agree. That don't mean she gonna win.
I'm going with Charlotte. Um, Having Charlotte come back, win the Royal Rumble, and win the championship off of Tiffany, I don't see them going that far with Charlotte. After
So you're
WrestleMania,
going Tiffy.
after WrestleMania, do what you will, but at WrestleMania, no.
So you're going with Tiffy.
Going with Tiffy.
All right, Tiffy Charlotte. We'll see who's the.
No.
Damn, oh, she had a tiebreaker.
That brings us to the mid-event World Heavyweight Championship match. Walter Gunter Gunnar versus mid-card main event Jey Uso. Who wins?
How
Kaliko?
dare you? How dare
Motherfucker won the Royal Rumble over like fucking Rover, and he doesn't even get the main event a two-night WrestleMania because your rivalry was that bad and only got lit in the last 2 weeks?
I mean, it's because of they did the whole, hey, I'm not afraid of you.
Jay was like literally like, you killed my brother. Yeet.
I'ma fuck you up.
Yeet.
Yeet. I'm not scared of you anymore.
Yeet.
Yeet. And I'm just looking like, bro,
Yeah. We people
I
were
love
upset
you.
about people were upset
love
about the
Bruce.
what chance. This is a brand new animal.
I know. And I'm just like, I get it. I get it. It's one of those things where it's like, now here was the problem with that. The problem, the reason it's not the main event is not because of Jay or Gunther not doing enough. The reason it's not the main event is because this is the fourth time that they faced each other for a title in the last 12 months.
Very true.
That's the fucking problem. If this was if this was a first time match, it easily could have been a main event. But the fact that they spent all of 2023, and I get, oh, not 2023, but I get why they did that in 2024 because it lays the groundwork for 2025 when they face each other, where he come up short and he's down himself, and they're trying to figure out how can you get that 2020 2022 Uso back where he was like fucking people up on sight. So I get it. It's like trying to get him back to his dark place.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think that they did a
it.
really good job with that in the last 2-3 weeks. Like really, like everything before they involved Jimmy. I mean, was trash. They involved the Alpha Academy. Like, I mean, that tells you everything you need to know. But everything since involving Jimmy has actually been actually pretty good shit. And it is if they would have started with this, there could have been a conversation for this to be the main event. But because
so can we say so we can say Jimmy's the MVP? My boy's the MVP.
Jimmy was the MVP.
Jimmy was the MVP. There you go. There it is. That's all I continue, sir.
He's still a Janetti, though.
Oh.
Uh,
you can continue. You can continue.
Who wins, Kaliko?
Man, my heart wants to say Jay so bad. It's Gunther. And the only reason I say it's Gunther is because there has never been a time that he has been a champion where it has been less than a year.
So you'd say that he's taking it for a couple more months?
Oh, easily till fucking August. I mean, even beyond. Now, this is where I am scared that they're going to do another gamble because Because let's say Jay loses, and that's the other thing too, because he just fought him in January. Fought him in January for the title, came up short. Fought him 3 times for the Intercontinental Championship. So this is like match 5
Yeah.
for a title. If you ain't got it by now, you ain't getting it, homie. So, and that's what's killing me with it. And I don't. I love Jay. He's gonna come out to the most over. He's gonna have the most over ring entrance since Dirty Dom at 39. But the bell will ring, and Gunther is just gonna win. I can't see him not winning. He's never had a title reign less than a year since he's been there.
Very true.
And that, to me, screams volumes.
And, you know, you're not wrong, and you make perfect sense. You know, it makes perfect sense. You know, he hasn't held a championship less than a year. But I also have to kind of say, you know, if not now, like, when are they going to pull the trigger on Jay? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, he's still going to be over, but when does the crowd start losing that faith in him to say, you know, he's not our guy? I think that it could maybe possibly hurt him to lose here. I could be wrong on that. I don't know. But
Yeah, because he had the IC title for literally a cup of coffee, and that shit did not.
yeah. So
It's like a whole cup.
So I feel like it should be Jay, but like you said, and Gunther hasn't held a championship less than a year, and that just kind of is in the back of my head. So I want to say Jay. It probably should be Jay, but I mean, again, it's Gunther, and he lost last year at WrestleMania as well. Are they really going to give him back-to-back L's at WrestleMania? I mean, if there was any attempt.
Who? Uso?
No, Gunther. So.
Oh, good point. Because this was the last time he ended his reign was
Yeah.
So woof.
So I mean, it seems like a lot is in Gunther's favor to actually win. But if Jay doesn't, you know, avenge him fucking up his brother and murdering Jimmy, Yeet, you know, what does that do for
No yeet.
what does that do for Jay? You know, so it's very conflicting.
It is. It's like, okay, we have the logic of Gunther never never losing. I mean, granted, he did win that triple threat at 39. But yeah, it's just like, okay, you've never seen this guy hold the title less than a year. But you would think if there was ever a one, wouldn't Jay be the one after all that? It's gonna be conflicting, but I'm looking at the numbers, I'm looking at the data, and it's screaming Hurricane 5 Gunther. Just because I have nothing of faith to pin it to Jay other than my emotions.
Right. All right. So I think we're in agreement. Gunther. I'm going with Gunther.
Gunther.
Yeah.
I know. I'm sorry, Jay. I failed you.
Talking about failing someone, failing Bianca. Our next match is Jade Cargill versus Naomi. Who wins, Kaliko?
Ooh. It's interesting. Now, this is a conflicting one because they got Naomi looking like. I haven't seen this. I haven't seen Naomi look this dangerous heading to a Mania in my lifetime.
Because he has crosses taped around her?
No, because of the character development. I mean, the last time I knew, like, the only time I knew that she was going to win a match for sure at WrestleMania was Orlando, because she's from Orlando. She danced for the Magic, and it was like manifest goddamn destiny.
Right.
But other than that, you've never seen this part of Naomi. And I could see. What I'm saying is, she's got a 30% chance of winning, and that 30% could cash in tonight. Goddamn.
You just put her right over and then you shit her right out.
Hey, I said she looked dangerous. I didn't say that she looked dangerous. That damn. I didn't say she was Gunther dangerous. Damn it, like shit. But all in all, this kind of screams. This screams Jade, because to me, I would think Jade would win night one, Bianca wins night two with the help of Naomi, and then the real shit begins.
Yeah, honestly for me, it's a lot more cut and dry, than that. Naomi's just another way to spell Natalia. Jade Cargill for the win.
Yep. Wait a minute, how dare you do Natalia like that? Oh, fun fact, she's at Bloodsport. Favorite. I got Natalia versus everybody.
Good for her. Alright, we have the World Tag Team Championship match. The War Raiders, Olaf and Gunther versus the New Day. The New Day. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. Who wins, Kaliko?
They would not do this if the New Day wasn't winning.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
They would not put this on the card if New Day was winning. Was not winning. Because that's the thing. The New Day needs the pay. I wouldn't even say the payoff, but they need the gratification for doing what they did.
Right.
And them winning the tag titles will be the ultimate gratification.
I want to say that it's kind of got stale after, the whole, promo against Big E. But I don't think that they used them as properly as they could have, after,
No, I disagree.
I mean, they let it cool. I feel like they let it cool off too much before they did something with them.
I think they played it to where the people didn't even want to hear what the fuck they like when they're where Dominic was 2 years ago.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean,
and that's a great goddamn spot, because if you don't even want it, and that's the thing, and this is where I say it's perfect, because when the people don't even want to hear them, when they win the titles, they will have no choice but to hear them.
Right. And I mean, but
that's when they can speak their truth.
But the thing about Dominic was on every single episode of Raw when that was happening. So he continued having that heat. While the New Day, they're not on every single Raw. And they're not doing, in front of the crowd promos every single time. So I feel like that definitely, kills a little bit of that heat. If this match happened like maybe a month after the Big E promo, nuclear fucking heat, in my opinion. I feel like it kind of cooled off a little bit since then, because they haven't been as featured as much. But I do think that it's going to be a good moment for, Kofi and Xavier, considering, they've had like 15 tag team title reigns, but they've never actually won a tag team title at WrestleMania. So, I mean, it's just a little notch in their belt, I'd say.
Right.
But yeah, 100% War Raiders ain't coming out of this motherfucker with titles around their waist.
Yeah. Sorry, War Raiders. Just
Yeah.
weeds in the roadkill.
Mhm. Now we have United States title match. La Knight versus Jacob. Fuck you. Who wins?
Fatu next. Fatu.
Wow, not even giving LA a dart.
Bro, I'm just letting you know right now. Have you ever seen Fatu in person?
No, I have not. Have
Have you ever seen him wrestle in person?
No, I haven't seen him wrestle in person. I mean,
He's a motherfucking treat. I will no. Fatu about to fuck him up. I'm sorry. Nah, bro. Fatu fucking him up. I love you, La Knight, but boy, you are Sonata Slaughter for the evening. You are. The only way you would lose, the only way you would win is if Solo comes in on some jealous bullshit. That's the only way you win.
I'm gonna be controversial here, and I'm gonna say LA Knight wins.
Well, go for it. Better you than me, sir.
Some fuckery will happen. He'll get the roll up W on Jacob or something like that. Alright.
Yeah.
That brings us to a special singles match. Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Amalacano.
Wait a minute. What?
Yeah, WrestleMania minted match.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Who? Repeat that one more time for the people.
Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano.
They really went with that shit, didn't they?
They sure did.
In this political climate, they just were just like, fuck it, we pulling this trick.
Well, I mean, it's literally the name of a coffee, so I mean,
It would be no. The problem is that they said that he hailed from the Gulf of America. See, that's where they fucked up. See,
I think it's funny.
see. I mean, it's funny as shit if it wasn't 2025. If this was like Zeb Coulter leading the parade, it'd be cool as shit. But this ain't the time for that shit. Oh gosh, that is actually on this card. conventional wisdom tells me that there's no goddamn way Rey Mysterio's losing. However,
Uh-huh.
they didn't have Chad Gable go all the way to Mexico to learn all the arts of lucha libre just to lose this match.
Now you're catching on.
Hey, they put too much. They put too much. What's that word? They put too much investment in this stock of Chad Gable riding into Mexico City in the streets of TJ trying to fucking find this shit. Just saying.
No, yeah. I'm 100% on board. El Grande Americano for the W. And it will be a sweet victory, considering that it's Chad Gable's first singles WrestleMania match. So, for him to beat Rey Mysterio, that would be pretty cool. So there's definitely sentimental value to the match for me, anyway.
Yeah.
Alright, and that brings us to the triple threat main event, custody of Paul Heyman match. We have Roman Reigns versus CM Punk with Paul Heyman versus Seth fucking Rollins. You mentioned, conventional wisdom. Everything that's going on between, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Paul Heyman. It would make sense for Paul Heyman to align himself with Seth Rollins to fuck over Roman and Punk after this show. And I mean, it would be a really cool moment in the moment, but what would Seth Rollins do with Paul Heyman afterwards? You know what I mean?
Well, it's the reason why you would want Seth with Paul is because Seth has always been known as a workhorse legend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's a legend in the wrestling community because of his work ethic. To push him as a superstar, as a superstar in the mainstream, I think it would help him. And the reason I say that is because the last time he was even on a mainstream stage was when he cashed in at Mania.
Right.
So everything he's done, although I must say, and this is not a knock to him, although he's accomplished a lot, it almost seems like he's like the Lord of the Underground, in a sense.
I mean, I could buy that.
So if you're trying to push him into that upper sphere like a Punk, like a Roman, it would make sense. It's not even a sense of like, it's not even a sense to have him gain in the sense of winning championships because he's done it all. It's more of having a person like Heyman propel him into that upper edge, basically to put him in the same stratosphere as his wife.
I gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. But I don't know. Does Roman Reigns and CM Punk each other out, so that makes Seth Rollins the de facto? Do you give CM Punk the W at WrestleMania? I always felt like CM Punk was like the Naito, so to speak. You know, he gets the main event, but he doesn't win the main event. And it's just chasing that dragon.
No, fuck that. At least Naito had a main event. Punk never had it. So the whole point was that, and that's the only reason I would. That's the one big reason that is a big question mark over this, because of the fact that Heyman was so in. It was like Heyman helping one of his kids get into MIT. You know what I'm saying? You felt the emotional connect because of the fact of the whole history. So to the point where Roman let it fly.
Right.
Roman let that shit slide hella hard. Like, oh yeah, go ahead, hug his ass. Because shit, I'm used to this shit. Like, so that's the only like killer that is getting me, because of the simple fact that Heyman was so happy and and the fact that he went against Roman for it. Why would he go against Roman to help Punk and then turn on Punk for Seth? That's the only reason I have the problem with it.
Right. I mean, Seth Rollins can win without the help of Paul Heyman. I mean,
he could.
I mean, Roman and Punk could be so, wound up in Paul Heyman that Seth
takes advantage.
Yeah, he just sneaks
the
by.
the Benoit method, the Benoit Michaels Triple H method.
True. So, is there any percentage you see Roman or Punk winning, or are we pretty much, yeah, this is Seth's match to win?
In the memory of Scott Steiner, I'm just going to use Steiner math. I'm going to use 33 in the third, which turns into 66 in the sixth, which turns into 188 in the eighth. Although I think Punk would win. Because the only reason I think Punk would win, because he's the only person that gains the most from winning.
But what is he really gaining
His first,
than just being in the main event of WrestleMania?
I mean, puts him as a top contender for Gunther.
Oh, that's true.
Because the other two Rollins is on SmackDown, but Rollins never faced Gunther, but Punk Gunther, they've been running that on the house shows.
That's true.
So it makes sense for them to put Punk and Gunther together for a while.
I mean, that makes sense, but I feel like it has to be said. I mean, I want Punk to win for, obvious reasons, but everything's telling me that it's going to be Seth. Who are you going with?
Punk.
Going with Punk. Okay.
Rolling with the Punk.
Alright. Well, that will conclude our coverage of Night 1 of WrestleMania. And we are wrestling with Night 2 of WrestleMania.
Oh,
We got the first match, the women's World Heavyweight Championship. Io Sky versus the Fresh Prince of Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley. Who wins, Kaliko?
the fresh prince of fresh princess of Bianca Belair. There you go. That's, I, ooh, this is tough. I mean, the only reason I would say EO is because she just got the title. Like, literally just got that bitch.
Yeah, like a month ago.
Like a month ago. And she lost the title last year. Hmm. Damn, that's tough. Because EO just. This is the second time she walked in as champ.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be hard for her to lose twice.
She'd be feeling that Oscar vibe. Not quite there yet, but she would be on that pad. I'm 100% behind EO.
They did Oscar dirty.
Oh, yeah.
But
I'm 100% behind EO. Bianca's won at WrestleMania. Rhea's won at WrestleMania. Neither need another W at WrestleMania. So, this is EO's second WrestleMania. She lost last year. Time to give EO the W this year, time around. What say you, Kaliko?
that's the only reason I'm giving EO a better chance because of what happened last year.
Right.
But the thing is that, and it seems like that could happen because of the simple fact where it's Bianca still got shit to finish with Jade and Naomi.
And that could definitely bleed through the match for her.
That could. And that's the only thing. Because Bianca doesn't really need the title to finish that story.
Right. And look, the crowd is kind of turning on Bianca.
You said what?
Low key, the crowd is turning on Bianca.
I mean, if you. I mean, the black community noticed that real quick. But I'm just letting you know. But the question is, who's going to take the pin?
That is a good question. Well, I mean, it does seem like Rhea has been more comfortable taking L's in the last recent year. When's the last time Bianca's taken a solid pinfall loss?
Solid? Ooh.
Like she lost, it wasn't disputable. It was clean.
That is a great goddamn question. Because it. Don't worry, I'm out here looking that up. The last time she took a legit loss.
Pulling up your cage match.
I mean, hey, you know what? Pop out that cage match. You damn right. I mean, she's got 6 losses in 2025. It's just.
But were those singles matches?
Ooh. Roxanne Perez and the Judgment Day. Oh, yeah, when Liv Morgan beat him. I mean, in 2025, if that's what you're looking for.
But was that a clean victory? I don't remember it being clean.
Um, I mean, it was Judgment Day. The way Judgment Day do what Judgment Day does.
Very true.
But when you're looking at her last MF and loss, like loss, holy shit! She's been booked strong.
She lost.
The last singles loss she had was to Chelsea Green and Blair Davenport.
That's a triple threat.
Yeah.
Meaning she didn't take the pin.
Oh no shit, she didn't take the pin. I mean, the last time she took a pin was Io Sky.
Yeah. Okay.
Look at us. Look at us.
Dave Meltzering at this shit.
But I mean, but that's not enough to warrant the crowd hating her.
It's not warrant the crowd hating her, but it does warrant. Bitch, you need to be on your back for this match.
She ain't on her back for this match.
I mean, I feel like Rhea, she put over people. Bianca hasn't for a while, so
I mean, she got the biggest one of all.
What do you mean?
I mean, keep in mind, she took a 20-second pin to Becky.
3 years ago.
Hey man, black folk don't forget.
God.
Never forget.
I'm gonna call it Io wins, pins Bianca. Maybe some fuckery between Naomi and Jay causes that.
I mean, unless Naomi causes her, which could happen.
Yeah. Okay. I think we could both agree on that. Alright, now we have a special singles match. AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. Who wins, Khalid?
Oh, God damn it. Jesus Christ.
He's not
I mean,
in
AJ called him out. Oh. Logan has yet to win a Mania match, if I'm not mistaken.
That is inaccurate. He won his first Mania match at 38, and he won.
Really? He beat Logan? You know what? I was there. You would have thought I would have known that.
Yeah.
But
And he beat Randy Orton and Kevin Owens last year.
oh yeah, so he do. All right, never mind. I mean, but the problem is that AJ called him out, so I would think Karrion would have some kind of input in AJ losing.
I don't. I honestly.
Well, I'm going Logan until otherwise proven wrong.
I'm gonna let my heart go with this one and say AJ. I can't go against AJ.
I mean, I can't either. He's Georgia own, but god damn it.
Yep.
He's retiring soon.
That brings us to the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match. Liv Morgan and Rachel Gonzalez versus Bayley and Lara Leukemia. And here you were saying Lara was going to defend her championship at Mania.
Oh god damn it! I knew you was
Going for
Oh,
the lowest mid-card title you can have in the women's division.
I'm not. Damn it. They fucking did me dirty.
But I suppose she's doing
mean,
better than Chelsea is. At least she has a match.
no shit. But I think the only reason they would have this match is that if Bailey's gonna go back on to her old ways.
Meaning?
Because remember, Bailey took that L to her for the IC title, and she low key was ready to dip on her ass.
That's true. I mean,
Seed planted.
it could lead to.
Seed planted that.
Yeah.
Seed planted that she could walk out on her ass at any given moment.
I don't see a Bailey turn at WrestleMania. Rarely do we see heel turns or turns in general at Mania. So maybe the next night on Raw, but I definitely see Morgan and Raquel retaining, in my opinion. Agreed?
I mean, Liv and Raquel are retaining, yes.
Yeah.
All them fucking stitches Liv has been going through since 2025, they owe her ass.
That brings
Jesus Christ.
That brings us to the Intercontinental four-way match, Intercontinental Championship four-way match. Braun Breaker versus Finn Balor versus Dirty Dominic Mysterio versus El Penta El Zero Mero Mascara. I think that I'm gonna call it. Fucking Dirty Dom ends the night as Intercontinental Champion. Maybe Finn has the win locked, and Dom fucks him over, takes over maybe not take over the Judgment Day, but at least kicks out Finn Balor from the Judgment Day, and Dirty Dom is your new Intercontinental Champion. What say you, Khalil?
The only way Braun losing that title is if he's winning Money in the Bank this year.
I mean, but they made it established that he is beatable for that championship. So I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
To who? What, Jack?
Yeah, he lost
On a random Monday? Man, they don't miss me with that bullshit. Ever since then, he's been fucking everybody up. Yes, he's been looked as beatable, but it wasn't like Brock Lesnar, Cena 14 beatable.
I don't know. I think that. I mean, he's not. Obviously, he's not eating the pin here. I personally think it's going to be Finn Balor 100%. But
Finn or Don are taking the pin. It's just a matter of who's pinning who.
Well, according to you, Breaker's winning.
I would think. But I also see that. I also can see the concession of continuing the Judgment Day storyline with Dom being the leader by getting the title that Finn was wanting, thus causing more animosity. So I can see that. I can reasonably, if that would not shock me at all. I just don't see the way that they've been playing that spear over and over and over. It's just tough for your boy to see him losing.
Well, I locked in my answer. Dominic Mysterio for the W. Who are you going with?
Dom for the dub. I'm going with Breaker for the dub. B for the D.
B for the D? Okay. Then we have a Sin. Oh, well, actually, should we talk about who Randy Orton is wrestling at Mania? It kind of
If he's wrestling at Mania.
um, he said that he was gonna fuck up Nick Aldis and apologize to Mickey James if he didn't. So I'm thinking he's getting a WrestleMania match.
Oh
Um,
God.
yeah. So I'm pretty sure it's Solo Sikoa. Maybe Tamatonga. Um, who knows? But
Aleister Black?
that would be interesting. It better not be fucking Rusev though.
Ooh. Didn't they have
A fatal four way
they
a couple years ago.
they had a three-way.
Yeah, with Jinder Mahal.
Yeah. See?
Yeah. Um, I'm assuming that it would be Solo Sikoa. I don't think Solo would be beating Randy on this night. I could be wrong because Randy's been eating those L's like candy at this point. So
But Randy doesn't lose you anything by taking them. See, that's the point. What'd you say? Put over the next generation?
I mean, true, but I mean,
Ah,
he's Randy Orton at WrestleMania.
that was Randy Orton at WrestleMania. Charlotte, oh, you gotta put up. Charlotte, oh no, nigga, put over the next generation. Randy Orton, no, you're fucking Randy Orton. Why the fuck would you lose? Like, see, that's why we're fickle, right there. There it is. There it is. I'm just saying.
So so you're going with Solo Sikoa.
I mean, it ain't gonna be Solo. I think it's an Alistair.
I'm gonna go with whoever it is. Randy Orton's going to win.
Man, we said that when Seth rolled his ass in Dallas, and then Cody brought that ass clean out and whooped that ass.
Um, I don't remember who I said to that one was gonna win that match, but I mean it happened, so I guess so. I mean, if it's a surprise, maybe it would go to that person, but I'm gonna go for Randy right now and say that it's predictable. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Now we have a Sin City street fight between Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. Not the best match.
Next.
Not the best match Idol Man could be in, but you know, it is what it is, I suppose, at this point. Um, who you got, Kaliko?
Drew.
Yeah, I agree with that. That brings us to the main event, the last match of WrestleMania. John Cena versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Undisputed Championship. Who wins?
Ay, ay, ay. I mean, can we just keep Travis Scott away from the match? Just
Well, we would hope that would happen.
full disclaimer before he breaks another motherfucker's eardrum. Uh, it's rough because the whole point of this was that the Cena did this with the help of The Rock, but we haven't seen The Rock since all of this went down, which would tell me that The Rock would have some kind of input in this.
I mean, you would think. I think so.
Which to me, if the rumors are true about Roman and a character development, it would be now. But God, who knows? Um, the question is, are people tired of Cody being champion?
No.
Then he ain't winning. He ain't losing. And that's if you think if the people are not tired of him not being champion, even though people see bitch about his title defenses because he only defended it 5 times in the year reign he had, I'm like, that's a Roman schedule. That's about a good Roman schedule.
I mean, it's maybe more than Roman did in
2024, shit.
yeah.
No shit. So I mean, so yeah, I'm gonna go. Let's go, Cody. Cody gets the dub over Cena because it seems like to me Cena's conflicted in a sense.
Yeah.
I he seems out of his element in this, even though he's been killing Cody on this goddamn mic, but he still just seems out of element. I can't take the man seriously when he's supposed to be the heel in this main event, and they got us having goddamn kickoff parties with him, and they selling all his goddamn kit merch, and then they got his goddamn $25,000 lunch. I cannot take him serious as a heel. That's the problem. That's the other element of this. It's like he's the most visible heel on WrestleMania weekend I've ever seen in my life.
So, I think it's pretty cut and dry in my opinion. Cody's gonna win. Cody's gonna continue his reign. He didn't finish the story 1 year ago just to lose it to John Cena 1 year later. I think there's gonna be some type of clusterfuckery, gaga.
As usual.
With,
As always with the Cody match.
yeah, with The Rock, and it's gonna be, remember Return of the Jedi when Luke was getting electrocuted by the Emperor, and then Darth Vader was like, "No, he's my son," and he picks up the Emperor and throws him into the abyss, and all the sparks fly. Yeah, that's gonna be John Cena saving Cody Rhodes from The Rock, at the end of WrestleMania. And him
Really?
yeah, and him extending his hand to Cody Rhodes and saying, "I'm sorry I did all of that to you. I just needed to know if I could still do it, if I could still be the main event of WrestleMania." And then he'll get the babyface pop, and he can sell all the merch his little heart desires. And nothing went wrong with John Cena.
So you mean to tell me John Cena did all that cussing kids out just to be like, oh yeah, I just wanted to see if you still had it?
Yes, 100%.
Bullshit.
Wait,
Boy, I crackers in the family, boy. I'm telling you, that ain't happening. That ain't happening.
watch it happen.
That shall not happen.
It's gonna happen.
Alright.
Alright, well, at least we're in agreement that it's going to be Cody that takes the W. So, there's that. Alright, and that will conclude our coverage of WrestleMania. We'll be doing a full review in 2 weeks, because obviously WrestleMania is next Saturday. Not exactly sure what we'll be doing next Saturday, but we will be on probably. And yeah, that'll conclude this episode. Thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, both on YouTube and Castbox. This was sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. Join us this Tuesday as we interview the Stoner Brothers, this Wednesday as we interview Murillo D'Angelo, and every Tuesday and Wednesday for new incredible interviews. And follow the show at Wrestling with E, both on X, Twitter, and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. Follow me personally at JamesJ993. Where can we find Felico?
I'm Felico. Hey, the dream may still be alive. Might catch me out there, so hey.
For Calico Yachts and Scooter Dust, I am James J, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.
John Cena cussing out kids just to be like, I just wanted to test you. Boy, that's some crack uncle shit if I've ever heard. Like, I just wanted to see if you had it, young blood. Just
Hey, folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show. Support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.